This is where colored pencils really do their magic. It's when you're mixing them. It took a while to layer these colors enough to not only create a right darkness, but also to give it that texture that the photo has. I feel like there's a lesson here. Somewhere in that discomfort, I will learn it. I want to finish this sketchbook with my study. I've been using it exclusively to do my art studies, and I'm about halfway done with it. It would be nice if I made it a goal this year to complete it. It's October, and I should probably do that. This is how much I have left. So not a lot. You know when you want to accomplish something in a definite amount of time, aka a year? This would be an easy accomplishment for me, because as somebody who is working on a very long-term comic project, we don't get a lot of completion wins. We really don't. This could be an easy win for me if I just devote the time to do it. For these studies, I usually use colored pencils, and it's just my luck that Woomer has decided to send me their 72 colored pencil set. So I'm going to try these out to finish this sketchbook. Okay, so what are we working here? They are 3.8 millimeters, which is pretty standard for more artsy colored pencils. If you want really fancy colored pencils, you'd go for the 4 millimeter, but these are supposed to be fairly affordable. I really like this illustration, it's pretty. And this bright orange tin, and their little cat logo is adorable. What do we got here? Oh, 2 trays, look at that. Right away, I've noticed that it is so much more than what I already own. For years, I've been using this 36 set of Faber-Castell colored pencils. They're the same size, 3.8 millimeters, but I have found that this is a very limited palette. I can't really do much with this. I don't even have that many beiges, and even like a baby blue for skies and stuff. I've been using this or that. So I've noticed that maybe 36 isn't actually enough. We really do need more colors if we want to do actual illustrations, which is why I was excited to receive this product from Woomer, because this is double of what I'm used to. A lot of my anatomy studies in the past have been mostly to do timed studies of reference photos. What I haven't done is copied actual anatomy breakdowns, or let me show you. I finally splurged and got this anatomy reference book that has been advertised all over social media. Has it been useful? This is essentially anatomy for dummies, okay? If you're really spatially and muscularly challenged, this book has been very helpful in breaking down the basics. There are some parts of the body that are really tricky for me to draw still to this day. Instead of continuously making the same mistakes over and over again, I would like to sit down and do the actual dissection work that I've been avoiding. And what better time to do that but now, when I have all of these nice things recently. Do you like this new velour suit? I got it at Costco. It's really soft. And I figured as one of my cozy clothes outfits at the house, so I don't look too much like a slob, I feel like a matching set seems less crunchy. And now that I've explained to you what the plan is for this video, now we get to actually do the drawing.
Made from real Egyptian beads, circa 1570, 535 BC.
Whoa. Wow. That
They're
is
beautiful. I
really
mean, just
cool.
to hold a piece of history like that in your hands, or...
What else do we have here? Oh, ancient Roman glass. Wow. 1st to 3rd century AD, found near Jerusalem. That is awesome. I'm dyeing my hair. I had to bleach the roots and do that whole thing, so it's a long process. While I'm waiting for the color to settle in, I could put in another session of anatomy drawing. I am working on a comic page. I'm finding that I'm struggling a little bit with the anatomy. This panel has taken quite a while to draw. I'm struggling with, again, the shoulders and the arms and stuff. So instead of continuing to work on that, I am going to be a dutiful artiste and do some more studying. This looks so ridiculous. I look like one of those flying nuns or even just a medieval lady. The reason I put the plastic bag is just so that the paint doesn't get everywhere. We're gonna continue shoulder stuff. I like to pick different colors per session so that later on I can see how long each session was. So I'm not going to pick the same colors as last time. Something autumny since we're in autumn. I really love this tray. It's so lovely. The last session I learned a little bit more about the chest cavity. Suggested to think of the chest cavity as an egg. The egg shape makes sense. The other thing that I learned was that this area, the area that I struggle with most visualizing in like a 3D sort of way, that's kind of like a rhombus on the top when you're looking down. And the rhombus is bordered by the collarbone. That was very helpful. I'm now going to focus on the back. So we're going to draw the egg again, the spine, and I'm basically copying this. I want to memorize the shape of those shoulder blades. God, these colored pencils are so smooth. I barely have to put any pressure to get the color down. I'm just copying literally the same illustration. I have one page left in this spread. I'm gonna keep studying to finish that page, and then I can wash off the pink. I'm going to go to Line of Action. I love this website for quick and easy reference photos. I'm gonna set it up for an adult, all gender. Let's do only nude so I can really see the back muscles and the shoulders, because that's gonna be my focus. Obviously, because of YouTube, I can't show the full model, so let's go back to our sketchbook.
Llevamos mucha ventaja. ¡Vamos! Mira un chamaco. Por allá hay muchos doblones de oro. ¡Ándale! Vender bien y para pelear mejor. Por algo es mi hijo, ¿no? Persecución. ¿Cuántos hombres están cuidando el negocio? Una llena.
Nada podrá detener la maldición. Preparándome para demostrar mi inocencia. Los males que por tu culpa he tenido, a ver si poquito a poco, a ver si poquito a poco te puedo echar al olvido. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Tendrá que llegar el día que sin consideración te claven el aguijón. El aguijón. Mil penas como la...
¿Es un pelo?
¿No es mala idea?
Noche, dueño de tu amor.
I'm dog sitting for my parents' dogs. They are like Velcro. Whatever room I'm in, they gotta go with me. So I've put a little bed in every spot that I usually hang out in the house. So this is Isa, and this is Loli. Loli's definitely the more rambunctious one. Yesterday, while I was doing more anatomy sketching, I got distracted chatting with my grandma. I ended up copying this flower from her table mat. It came out really vibrant and beautiful. Like, this is quite bright, which just goes to show that these colored pencils are a lot nicer than the Faber-Castell that I'm used to. This is a Faber-Castell. I mean, granted, I colored this 3 years ago. So there is an element of light fastness, but I do remember thinking, they're not very bright. I was shocked to see how pretty this came out. And so then I got myself thinking, you know, I've had a really good time with this sketchbook. Let me order another one. The size is really big for sketching. I love that it lays flat and the paper is nice and thick. I even tested it with alcohol markers and it didn't feather at all. I mean, it did bleed, but it didn't feather. So in checking for more of this sketchbook, which is the Denick 9x11 sketchbook, they don't sell these anymore. These have been discontinued. In fact, there's only like 4 left online that I could find. So that made me really nervous because it's rare for me to really like a sketchbook. If you hear that, that's construction. I went ahead and ordered another one immediately. But that also means that I'm going to stop doing these silly anatomy sketches on this lovely sketchbook. I still want to use these colored pencils, and you saw that that flower came out really nicely. So I'm going to switch over to a regular sketchbook and do some actual colored pencil sketches and illustrations to really see how these colored pencils do. How do I do? Because I hardly ever sketch, so I don't even know what I will come up with, and probably why you even clicked on this video. The anatomy stuff probably gets a little bit boring. This is Editing Jasmine from the future. Bear with me on the change of sketchbooks. It's temporary. The whole point of this video is to finish this. I know you probably don't care. I'm just mentioning that I myself am trying to figure out how can I develop a sketchbook habit, since it is such an alien thing for me for so many years. I have a bunch of sketchbooks. I don't know which one to work in, depending on the medium, depending on the size. Like, it's not an intuitive thing, nor is it kind of like fun for me. So I'm still figuring things out. And for this video and the series on finishing this, the focus really should be this thing. So bear with me as I'm trying to figure this out. My final conclusion with what am I actually going to do with the sketchbook is I will continue to do studies. It just won't be strictly the anatomy drawings. It'll also be art studies, art copies, anything that involves studying basically. And that's because ultimately My aim for sketching is to improve as an artist. I know for some artists, they use their sketchbooks as therapy or to express themselves, or their main body of work is through their sketchbooks. So everyone's relationship with their sketchbooks is different. And I'm trying to figure out mine. All I know for me is that I simply want to improve my skills on a technical level. So that requires working more with color, doing more anatomy, still life studies where I'm analyzing lighting, texture, basic foundational skills. Also, since we are in the future, I can show you what the new Denik sketchbook is. They don't sell that larger size anymore. This is the only sketchbook they have left. So I hope that clears some confusion out. And now let's return to the vlog. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't really ever have the time to sketch. I used to sketch back in college, but once I started to focus on projects, I didn't really have too much time to play, as one would say with art. So I've outlined this sword. I like how the darks can get pretty dark, but I can still outline fairly lightly if I want to. And it's quite erasable. I mean, here there's still marks because I had already drawn it pretty dark, but there's definitely room to erase with these. Now, how am I going to color this? I have no idea. Again, I'm not used to sketching, so this kind of decision making is very confusing. I do have a few colored pencil art books. I've acquired them from thrift stores. I guess now is the best time to kind of look through them. Alright, this is really cool. Some of the combinations you can do with colored pencils. So you don't want to just use a single color. You want to mix them to create depth. This is where colored pencils really do their magic. It's when you're mixing them and creating that depth. This graph is actually really cool. Hi, kitty. One day we will be able to pet you. It's been a work in progress to try to get those cats. For some reason, it's a little bent, so it won't close fully. So when I had it in my bag, all the colored pencils came loose. I've mentioned before that I want to do more sketching, but honestly, when I sit down and do it, it's very uncomfortable. And I think it's a process of perfectionism and needing to know exactly what I'm going to create. Feel like there's a lesson here. Somewhere in that discomfort, I will learn it. One way that I could try to embrace this discomfort is trying to cut the part where I'm wasting too much time trying to think of what to draw. So I found a few random object generators to help me do that labor for me. At the top is obviously line of action, which I've shown you how I use it for anatomy drawing, but I gathered a bunch of other resources that can sort of do the same. So let's try them out. I'm going to start with Sketch Daily. What this does, it's similar to line of action. You have the parameters, and when you press start, it'll share an image. It does have a timer too if you want to use that. I'm gonna not do that because it's stressful. I'm gonna try this. Oh, this is pretty cool. You can change it to black and white. You can add a grid, and then the image info is here. Awesome. Alright, so there's one illustration for that website. Let's try another one. Drawing Exercise Gen. So this one was created by the Reddit commenter who I grabbed some of these recommendations from. They created this little generator thing. It's pretty cool. So here they have the inputs of possible choices, and then it mashes it up and gives you just one of each. So what do we have here? Topic, house chitinous, jelly weapons. Okay. I don't know what any of that means, so let's try another one. Newt. Yeah, still don't know that one. I don't know, you guys. These options don't make any sense. Let's try another one. Am I wrong for trying another one? Thermostat? Really? Teacup and garden snake. Okay. I can try that. This is garden rake, not snake. I'm gonna try drawing big for once. Can't be afraid of size. And here we are, to the present, or the future present. I'm back. I think this video has been long enough, so I'll just conclude the first part of finishing my study sketchbook. And I'll show you what artwork I made with these lovely colored pencils. They did send me these to provide some kind of review or feedback, or show you what artwork could look like using these. 72 colored pencils is enough to create for sketching. Now, if you are wanting to create a full illustration, I still found myself missing in between colors. But we're already talking about 72 colored pencils. And, you know, the packaging's not bad for containing that many colored pencils. And the price is very reasonable. I do believe they're having a sale right now. I have a link below on my description if you'd like to see where you can buy these. They're vibrant, they sharpen really well, like they don't disintegrate when you're sharpening them, so generally, for their price point, I think they are impressive and beyond reasonable. And lastly, let's go over what artwork I created with these Woomer colored pencils. At the end of the series, I will show you a full flip through of this study sketchbook. But for this video, we'll just go through what I did create while you were here. So I started by doing shoulder studies. through that anatomy book, and then I did line of action studies. I wanted to pay close attention to the mechanics of the shoulders because I really struggle drawing structured shoulders. I really like how this guy came out. Sometimes you find color combinations that work really well. Then I did some figure studies with cloth, and I went back to shoulders. I'm on a mission to get shoulders right. Back to line of action with figure drawing. I go over in red when I think that I could improve some of these strokes. Here's that lovely flower. More line of action. I can already tell when I'm losing interest in one session, so that was the last bit of that. It was after this session that I moved over to the purple sketchbook. I'll show you in a moment what sketches I made there. After that, I realized, no, I should finish this. I just don't strictly have to do these anatomy studies. I can do other types of studies. So this top one is a study of a photo statue. So I only focused on the face, and it was really helpful to try to get those values down. I'm not sure that I did a great job. I think I could have gone way darker. The other study was of this adorable otter. Here's the reference photo. My aim was to create a pleasant iteration of colors using just these 8 colors. It took a while to layer these colors enough to not only create a right darkness, but also to give it that texture that the photo has. There's that nice balance between making it look colorful and appealing, but also having the information match with the photo. And then for the brief deviation, I did some girl night sketching. I like how the third came out. I'll always think that it could be better, but given the fact that we are only sketching, we are not creating full illustrations, it's nice. Here's one of Alice. I wanted it to be really colorful. I think I could have colored the armor better. And lastly, this sunset view of the castle. I just wanted to draw pretty clouds. And here's the other spread. On the left was the reference photo from one of those generator links. I like how she came out. I basically threw a ton of colors to try to make it much more interesting to look at. It's cool to see what happens when you have blues and then you put a yellow on top. You can really see the variation and make those colors sort of vibrate. And again, that's really where colored pencils shine. It's when you mix a ton of them together. It really scratches the brain in a pleasant way. For this side, I just did a doodle of my grandma while she was eating soup. And then that garden snake in a teacup. I like how the snake came out, but I gave up on the teacup. It was just too boring. I really don't have the attention span to spend too much time sketching. That's why the studies works for me, because I do feel like I'm getting something out of the studies versus just doodling away. This is how much I have left right here, which is only 7 pages. So I have 2 months to fill in 7 pages of art studies. So I will continue this series until this is done, and at the end of it we'll do a full flip through. Flip through. Flip through. Flip through. Flip through. I'd like to thank again Woomer for sending me their lovely colored pencils. What are you doing over there? Oh, you probably don't know. On my Patreon, I've already been talking about Julia, but we adopted a little kitten. Her name is Julia. She's very frisky sometimes. We are very happy to have a new kitty now. Oh. Anyways. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.